please try to keep your questions focused on Ring of Honor Final Battle. I'm going to turn it over to Tony for some opening thoughts, and then we'll open the line. So, Tony, take it away.
Hey, thank you very much for joining us today for this ROH Final Battle media call. I'll be spending a lot of time with a number of you in the coming weeks, which is exciting. It's nice to spend time together around the holidays, right? And I'm very excited. I'm a big Christmas guy to begin with, and I'm very excited. We've got a big weekend at Hammerstein of ROH and AEW coming. And in addition to the ROH pay-per-view Final Battle, we'll be filming some ROH TV also around Saturday's Christmas Collision. So it'll be really exciting, and a lot of exciting things happening in each company, and very excited to talk, focus on Final Battle right now. And we'll see a number of you also in the Scrum, and also coming up very soon next week, we'll be jumping into the World's End media call. So it's an exciting time of the year, and obviously in pro wrestling, a lot of great things happening, and for AEW and ROH, great things with AEW in particular, World's End, and the move to Max for streaming, in addition to continuing on TBS and TNT for the simulcast, and ROH with this big Final Battle show, and getting to go to Hammerstein for a big weekend of both companies. It should be a great time. I will stay on for a while here. I think since we're going to be doing another media call next week, and there's going to be a Scrum coming up, I might not do the full hour here, but let's see how it goes. And I'm going to try to get a lot of questions in, and before I know it, I'll probably be running up against the hour again. We'll see how it goes. But Danny, why don't you take it away, and let's have a good media call here.
Sounds great. Thank you, Tony. First up, we have Amy Nemedy with WrestleJoy, and Amy will be followed by Dominic D'Angelo with One True Sport. Amy?
Great.
Hey, Tony, can you hear me? Hi, Tony, can you hear me?
Hi, Amy.
Oh, yeah. Hi. So I'm so excited about Final Battle this year, because last year at Final Battle, Billie Starkz and Athena main evented the pay-per-view for the ROH Women's World Championship. And as hard as they fought, Billie was unable to overcome the strength of her mentor, as Athena retained and has since become the longest reigning champion of any kind in Ring of Honor. Can you talk about the progression Billie Starkz has made since last year? And do you think that Athena may be underestimating what lies in wait for her this time at the iconic Hammerstein Ballroom? Thank you for your time.
Well, it's been great. Thank you very much for asking. And it's been amazing to watch the growth of Billie Starkz. I first met Billie in Universal Studios in Orlando, working the dark tapings, and she was a standout teenage prospect and is a great young wrestler and has been for years, but she's matured and gotten better and better, more confident and crisper. And you see she's maturing in and out of the ring and becoming a young veteran with a good amount of experience for her young age. So it's really interesting to see, and I think under the tutelage of the most dominant champion in the history of Ring of Honor, Athena, we've seen Billie rise to new heights. She's been the ROH World Women's Television Champion, and I think that this is a great match. It's a rematch, and since their previous encounter, we saw Billie come a long way, become the TV champion, and they were both involved. Last week, we saw in a very important match with Athena and Billie Starkz being two of the four competitors involved in the International Women's Cup qualifier on a really great episode of ROH TV, I thought. Really strong episode that really developed a lot of things. It was a great crowd in Columbus, and they were very excited about the show, and that was a great match. And we saw Athena pick up the win. Athena is going to the International Women's Cup at the Tokyo Dome. But Billie Starkz was no pushover, and we saw Billie competitive in the match down to the end. And I think Athena may at times underestimate Billie Starkz on Ring of Honor TV, but I do think we saw them have a fantastic match a year ago, and it's going to be really interesting to see where things stand now, coming out of that great International Women's Cup qualifying four-way, and now knowing Athena is looking ahead to the Tokyo Dome. I'm very interested to see what happens when they meet very excited about that. It's a great World Championship match for Ring of Honor to have Athena defending the title against Billy Starks in a rematch in such a big spot on one of the most important shows for ROH, Final Battle at this iconic venue that we're really excited about. I think it's going to be a great rematch, Billy Starks versus Athena for the world title.
Thanks, Robbie. Thanks. Up next is Dominic D'Angelo with One True Sport, and he will be followed by Jim Barcelone with the Miami Herald. Dominic?
Hey, Tony, can you hear me okay?
Hear you great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, great card lined up here for Final Battle. Should be pretty exciting with the atmosphere of the Hammerstein Ballroom all mixed in. Always appreciate it when like Dustin Rhodes is a part of the equation, and it's cool that he's doing the tag team title match there with Sammy Guevara. But did want to ask about another tag team, and in specific a certain star, and EJ Naduka. He's been signed for AEW or with AEW and ROH for quite a while now, and I just wanted to get your assessment on his ceiling, what you think of his ceiling overall, and his overall development as he progresses with your company.
Well, thanks for asking about EJ. First of all, I'm excited about the tag team, Lee Johnson and EJ. They've been really doing well as a tag team, and we're seeing them in some individual matches too. And I think it's going to be interesting to see the development. Recently, they've been clashing with the Gates of Agony, who have been a top team in AEW and in Ring of Honor. And I think that's a good matchup, the Gates of Agony against Lee Johnson and EJ. And certainly that's one of the young rising stars that we're interested in and we think has a lot of potential in ROH and AEW. So it'll be interesting to track their progress. I think Lee Johnson has tons of upside also, but they're very different wrestlers. I think they have complementary skills, and that was the idea behind the Lee J tag team. And there's still more to be announced through ROH TV. We've got some huge matches on the card we're here to talk about today, but there's still a go-home TV show here and some more things coming together in the go-home week. But I wanted to get a chance to talk to all of you now. I'm excited about a match on this week's TV show, Lee Johnson versus Khan of the Gates of Agony. I thought Lee Johnson versus Toa was an excellent singles match, but I think EJ and Lee as a tag team against the Gates of Agony could be an interesting match too, and that's something to keep an eye on here. And like I said, there'll be more matches and more to be announced for the 0 hour in particular. And there's some really good things on the main card already, but I think those are guys that I would look to feature coming up here at Hammerstein on the ROH TV, but also potentially on the 0 hour. So thanks for asking.
Thank you, Tony. Up next, we have Jim Barcelone with the Miami Herald, followed by a write-in from Timmy Sokol with the Pop Break. Jim?
Have you heard about the salt trick that's making men stay hard for hours in bed?
It might sound bizarre, but your wife or girlfriend will thank you for watching this video. Go to your kitchen, grab a pinch of salt, and
Tony, Ring of Honor's Final Battle, you mentioned it, it's returning to the Hammerstein, and that's such an iconic place, especially for Ring of Honor Final Battle. And just curious your thoughts, if you could expand more on that venue and what that venue means to Ring of Honor and bringing it back there now, this event.
It's a very exciting to be in this venue for ROH and to premiere AEW there. I'm really looking forward to Final Battle. Final Battle will be my first time ever in the Hammerstein Ballroom or the Manhattan Center venue, and I'm thrilled about it. I think it's an iconic space. I was a wrestling fan for many years before I became a wrestling promoter, and that's one of the buildings across multiple promotions for many years that I've always thought was such a unique and special wrestling venue. And I'm really excited that we get to spend some time and put on great wrestling matches for the great fans in New York and people watching all over the world, because I think that's one of those venues that there's fans just like me that honestly have never been there and want to see wrestling from there and love to watch big matches and know the history of the venue, but have never actually been there. And I'm excited to go for the first time for ROH on Friday, for Final Battle, this huge event, and also to be there for AEW for Christmas Collision and Dynamite on 34th Street Christmas night, which is going to be really neat to have AEW on Christmas night. I'm looking forward to that. We've done Rampage on Christmas night before. I watch out with my family on Christmas. I'm looking forward to watching Dynamite with them this year. And New Year's Smash, which will be a very special way to celebrate Rampage on TNT. And then a lot of great matches and moments coming up this weekend for the fans in New York and people watching all over, emanating from Hammerstein Ballroom at the Manhattan Center in New York. But the first time I'll ever be in the venue, my first time there, is going to be ROH on Friday. I'm really excited for Final Battle and to step into the Hammerstein Ballroom for my first time ever as a wrestling fan and as a wrestling promoter. Thanks for asking.
Thanks, Tony, and thanks, Jim. I have a write-in here from Kimmy Sokol with the Pop Break, and that will be followed by Kevin Kellum with Sportskeeda. Tony, Kimmy writes, Red Velvet is someone who's had a breakout year in ROH. Since winning the ROH Women's TV title, she's gone on to Mexico as well as become a face of the brand. So what do you attribute to the rise of Red Velvet over the last year?
I am a huge fan of Red Velvet. I think Red Velvet has been a star in the making for years. She's been in huge spots in AEW and ROH, and I thought Red Velvet stepped up in the ring this year more than ever, and she's always been a great wrestler. She's been involved in huge matches. She's wrestled on all the AEW TV shows. She was in the main event of the first ever AEW Rampage. She was in huge spots from day one in this company. That, as far as when she stepped into the ring, she immediately got called into a very important match. It was really a big spot for her to step into in AEW when she first arrived, and she came from wrestling on AEW Dark to wrestling on Dynamite very quickly, and she's been fantastic for years. But this, I think, has been her best year in ring, in my opinion. She had some fantastic matches, and she was also involved, as was the challenger, legit Layla Hirsch, in that excellent match last week, the four-way match to qualify for the International Women's Cup. And both Layla and Red Velvet, as well as Billy Starks and Athena, who we just were talking about in the world title match, both of the world television champion, Red Velvet, and the challenger for the world TV title, legit Layla Hirsch, they were involved in that match also. It was interesting to see everything come together for the top women in ROH. And Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet had a fantastic match in the inaugural ROH Women's World TV title tournament earlier this year. That was a fantastic match in the tournament leading up to the finals. And we've talked about Billy Starks and her reign as the TV champ, and I think Red Velvet is somebody who's gone up now and been excellent also as the TV champion, has traveled. Billy Starks was under the thumb of Athena, and Athena really did not, I think, want Billy Starks out there defending the title or outshining her. So we saw Billy Starks doing a lot of eliminator matches. Nobody was able to hang with her, but Billy Starks wasn't necessarily traveling and free to be under the thumb of Athena.